Hey there, it's CJ Willie and I'm cracking a pack. Today is pack number 3 in my Magic the Gathering Rivals of Ixalan bundle bingo. Check out the preview video on my Rivals of Ixalan bundle. I have added the link to the preview video in the description below. As I crack the pack, my viewpoint will be from a very casual Magic the Gathering player perspective. It will not be the viewpoint of Pro Tour or even Friday Night Magic grinders. It will be a kitchen table game of Magic, having fun with friends' opinion. Let's take a look at the bingo card and see what we need to pull. One of the Elder Dinosaurs, Curious Obsession, Wayward Swordtooth, Path of Discovery, the Free Space, because everybody deserves a free space, Legion Lieutenant, Alenda or Twilight Prophet, one of the rare legendary enchantments, a foil rare or mythic rare. Alright, let's get to cracking pack number 3. Swaggering Corsair, 3 mana, 2 and a red, human pirate at 2/2, has raid. Swaggering Corsair enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it if you attacked with a creature this turn. In limited, this is a good card in red. On turn 3, more than likely it's going to come down as a 3/3 because you will have already attacked with a creature. Sanguine Glorifier, 4 mana, 3 and a white, Vampire Cleric at 3/3. When Sanguine Glorifier enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on another target vampire you control. In limited, you're going to want to play this in the white-black vampire deck. When it enters the battlefield, it's going to beef one of your other vampires. Aside from that, you do not want to be playing it if you don't have a vampire on board, because a 3/3 for 4 just doesn't cut it. Crashing Tide, 3 mana, 2 and a blue sorcery. Crashing Tide has flash as long as you control a merfolk. Return target creature to its owner's hand, draw a card. The Ixalan block had a lot of tribal themes built into the cards. This was a really good card to play in blue-green merfolk. However, you didn't necessarily need to have it in a merfolk deck because returning a creature to its owner's hand and drawing a card together are worth about 3 mana in limited. Stampeding Horncrest, 5 mana, 4 and a red, dinosaur at 4/4. Stampeding Horncrest has haste as long as you control another dinosaur. Continuing our theme of tribal build-around cards, it was relatively easy to pick a tribe in draft and then build around that tribe. Horncrest fit really well into a dinosaur deck. Coming down on turn 5, a 4/4 with haste can be a surprise attack against your opponent. Voracious Vampire, 3 mana, 2 and a black, Vampire Knight at 2/2. Has Menace. When Voracious Vampire enters the battlefield, target vampire you control gets +1/+1 and gains Menace until end of turn. You definitely want to be playing this card in a white-black vampire deck. The cool thing about Voracious Vampire is that you can play it later in the game and it still has an impact on the board by beefing one of your vampires and giving it Menace that can get through some damage when your opponent was expecting that they'd be able to block your vampire. Naturalize, 2 mana, 1 and a green instant, destroy target artifact or enchantment. Classic card. In limited, usually it hangs out in your sideboard, and if your opponent is playing some sort of pesky artifact or enchantment, you bring in Naturalize to try to take care of it. Dark Inquiry, 3 mana, 2 and a black, sorcery, target opponent reveals his or her hand, you choose a non-land card from it, that player discards that card. In limited, it's okay. Most of the time you want to hold on to it until later in the game and see if you can snatch their bomb. Creature, Soul of the Rapids, 5 mana, 3 and 2 blue. It's a 3/2, has flying and hexproof. This card was obnoxious in limited. It was really hard to play against. In a white-blue Flyers deck, you could put enchantments on top of it. Within a couple of turns, you would have won the game. Martyr of Dusk, 2 mana, 1 and a white, Vampire Soldier at 2/1. When Martyr of Dusk dies, create a 1/1 white vampire creature token with lifelink. I thought this was a pretty good common. The goal was to have Martyr of Dusk enter the battlefield, die, and it left behind the 1/1 vampire with lifelink. It helped you go wide with your vampires. Sworn Guardian, 2 mana, 1 and a blue, Merfolk Warrior at 1/3. I don't even recall playing it in limited. Didn't really help you out in your Merfolk theme because that deck tended to be a little more aggressive than defensive. First uncommon is Forerunner of the Legion, 3 mana, 2 and a white, Vampire Knight at 2/2. When Forerunner of the Legion enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a vampire card, reveal it, then shuffle your library and put that card on top of it. Whenever another vampire enters the battlefield under your control, target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. There was a Forerunner for each of the tribes that the first ability tutored out either a vampire, a pirate, a merfolk, a dinosaur, etc. The second ability gave you something specific to your tribe. Forerunner of the Legion was one of the stronger ones. Often you were able to play 2 vampires a turn and be able to give 2 different creatures +1/+1 or a singular creature +2/+2. Flood of Recollection, 2 blue, sorcery, return target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand, exile Flood of Recollection. This was a card that I thought would be a lot stronger than it ended up being. Because it was at sorcery speed, it weakened the card quite a bit. You had to play it first to choose the card you wanted, and then it gave your opponent plenty of information on what you were going to do in the future. Deadeye Brawler, 4 mana, 2 generic, 1 blue, 1 black, human pirate at 2/4, has Death Touch, has Ascend. Whenever Deadeye Brawler deals combat damage to a player, if you have the City's Blessing, draw a card. Being a 2/4 Death Touch, I thought would be something that would get damage through. Usually what would happen is I couldn't get Ascend fast enough for it to get in combat damage so that I could draw a card. Or by the time I had the City's Blessing, it was just chump blocked. Okay, will we get a great rare or mythic rare and mark off our first bingo square? We have Siegehorn Ceratops. 2 mana, 1 green, 1 white, dinosaur at 2/2, has Enrage. Whenever Siegehorn Ceratops is dealt damage, put 2 +1/+1 counters on it. In limited, this could turn into a bomb. If you had a way to protect it so it got the Enrage trigger, pretty soon it got out of control. It didn't have evasion, and it was very susceptible to removal. That was a little bit of a drawback. However, if you were able to get it down on turn 2 and your opponent didn't have a way to deal with it, it was a card that would take over the game. Then we have a Swamp and a Treasure token. My favorite card and best card of the pack is going to be Siegehorn Ceratops. In limited, Siegehorn Ceratops was a pretty strong card as long as you had a way to protect it. For me, I found the key was not to have it dealt damage by my opponent, but find creative ways to deal it damage so it could get the counters. I had to find a way to play 3 color dinos because red had plenty of ways where I could ping my Ceratops for 1 damage, and pretty soon it would steamroll its way to victory. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did like it, please subscribe and share. Take some time to tell me in the comment section what was your favorite card or the best card out of the pack. Until next time when I'm back to crack pack number 4 from my Magic the Gathering Rivals of Ixalan bundle in Bundle Bingo.